All right, win or loss. First game of the weekend, Helsinki Roosters destroyed the Portland Butchers. Q, do you think the Roosters won or the Butchers lost this one?
No, Roosters definitely won this game. They were clicking on all cylinders, man. Defensively, they looked good. Offensive, they was in a nice rhythm. Miro was getting the ball to all his receivers. The run game was working good by committee. The Roosters definitely won this game.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think this was a very good statement game for them. They really came out there and said, hey, we're going to put it on you and we're not holding back. Now, I will say I did not care for the scoring at the end of the first half when they had 50-something seconds and they decided to throw fades and get an extra touchdown in on a team that they were already beating by 30 points. I did not care for that, but I'm assuming, and I really hope that they were doing that because they're trying to, have enough points to get into the playoffs later. But personally, I did not like how the Roosters did that. I felt it was a little disrespectful to the game and to their opponents to do that right before the half. But they definitely won the game, so we can move on to the second game. So win or loss, talking about the Royals defeating the San Diego Crocodiles. What were you thinking, Q?
I picked the Crocs to win this game. I know the Royals probably like, man, he pick against us all the time, but I really don't. But I thought the Crocodiles were going to win this game. If you look at the stats, the Crocs outgained them. Individually, I think Christian Powell pretty much almost won that game individually. He had help, but just not enough to finish it off. But I give it to the Royals. They did everything they needed to do to win the game, and you had Alpha going off again. So, but I still think the Crocs lost that game.
I think the Crocs lost too, and no disrespect to the Royals. Also, I picked the Crocodiles to win this game, but before any Royals come and attack me online, I would just like to say, out of defending myself, I picked the Crocodiles to win because I picked both the Royals and the Crocodiles to make the playoffs. The Royals had already won 2 games, so they're kind of clinched a playoff spot. The Crocodiles needed a second win. So for them to win, that would mean that both of them would be in the playoffs, which is what I was hoping for. That's why I picked them. But honestly, going into the game, I thought that the Royals were going to be the better team. But watching the game, I kind of feel the same way as what I expected, that I think the Royals are the better team, but I think the Crocodiles can beat them. And I think that they should have beat them in this game. Like you said, Christian Powell single-handedly. This dude had 400 yards by himself. The fact that this team didn't win is on everybody else. And I know that sounds kind of harsh to anybody that played well. I mean, Alex Germany stripping that ball from Alpha Jallo at the goal line. That was clutch. The only problem is y'all fumbled the ball right afterwards. So it didn't change anything in the score. In this game, take away those 3 extra points. If you make those 3 extra points throughout the game, it's tied with 2 minutes left in the game, and the Royals had a ball. Totally different atmosphere for the Royals over the fact that in the actual game, they're up by 3 and they had the ball. So they took a shot, and it worked out for them, and Alpha scored the game-winning touchdown. But if you're tied at that point, they're not thinking, okay, let's just take a shot. They're thinking, how can we meticulously move the ball, get in field goal range, and win this game, which gives your defense a better chance of staying on the field and maybe creating something. So stuff like that is why I think the Crocodiles really lost this game. And I say this with a heavy heart. The Crocodiles are 1 quarterback away from being a top 2 or 3 team. Because legitimately, we can say right now, Kuopio's the best-looking team. Royals are second. The Crocodiles are third. But they could be second easily if they had a quarterback capable of getting them the plays they needed when they needed them. You can have Christian Powell run for 400 yards, basically get 400 yards of all-purpose in this game, but when they needed plays in the passing game, they were not there. There was a couple plays. Timmy Thomas Nathaniel Robitaille, they made plays when they could, but there was a lot of plays left out there where Spencer Cutland threw the ball into the dirt, or the receiver had to dive for the ball and couldn't catch it and run because of the bad placement of it. And there's it's not a knock on Spencer as an athlete, but as a quarterback, he doesn't have the skill set to make those very simple plays they were sometimes. Even a simple bubble route or even a swing route to the running back were inaccurate balls in the ground, and it costs you plays. And in a game like this where literally I think 3 points really was the difference in this game, it could have been the difference between them winning and losing was having a capable quarterback of making these simple reads and throws. They have the offense set up where Christian Powell is a man amongst boys. So you don't need a aerial assault to win with this team, but you do need somebody that can manage the game at a basic quarterback level, and Spencer Cutland isn't that right now. And that's why they lost. I think they really lost because they're going into these games each week handicapped, one hand tied behind their back by not having a serviceable quarterback. And it's really a shame because I really feel like they were the better team in this game. They should have been the team that won, but it is what it is. Congratulations, Royals. Okay, go ahead.
And then we got the third game of the weekend, the Steelers versus Wolverines. Pervis, what do you think? Did the Steelers win this game or the Wolverines lost it?
Look, someone sent me a message on Facebook earlier and asked me what I thought about this game, and I sent them back the little Kevin Hart gif. They weren't ready because they weren't ready. No. That's all it really was. Like, I want to talk so much about what the Steelers did because they went out there and won. They put it on them. Put up 70. Kudos. I think last year my question was, can you score more points? I think the Roosters got a 50 burger with cheese because they had 60. If anything, the Steelers had a 50 burger with cheese, bacon, onions, lettuce, tomato, all the way, triple patty, and a side of fries and a large Coke. They had a full meal out there. That's what they did. They put up all the points you could. They scored 10 touchdowns, put up 70. Like, that's a lot of points to score on somebody. But the Wolverines never really had a chance. From the beginning of this game, it looked like they were just the lesser team, and they never responded at any point. Early in the game, when Sebastian Sane got that long touchdown pass, you're thinking, okay, we got to fight. And that's the last we heard of him. Like, that was it. And that's no knock on him, but that's just the way the game went for the Wolverines. They never really were in it. But kudos to the Steelers, man. I loved everything they did. Their defense looked dominant. A.J. Whitland made a huge difference.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like having him and as well as having Max DeFalcus at safety, that defense looks so different than week one. And even week one, it was decent, but it gave up a lot of points. The Wolverines had no chance. They only had 100 yards total, negative 17 rushing, and this defensive front was everywhere. I'm trying to remember everybody's name. You had Yanni Lindquist, you had Big Sharp, Pinheiro in there, Cadell King, Simi Raji, Timmy Tuomanen. Everybody was making plays. Like, everybody on this defense. Of course, A.J. Whitland. You dropped the interception, though, A.J. He hit you in the hands with that. Yeah, I'm calling you out. But other than that, like, this front was everywhere, and they were making all the plays. And it was really impressive to see, for probably the first time this season, a defense play defense. That's how I feel about it. What about you?
I think the same thing. I mean, Scorpio was balling, man. You can see that defense was like, they was all over the place. They was running to the ball. Like, they looked like a well-coached oil machine defensively. Like, that's what you want. Like we said earlier in the season, it didn't look like a lot of people were focusing on their defense. They was just more offensive heavy. Everybody was kind of offensive heavy when they was doing their signings. And Scorpio did both. They already had some stuff on offense, so what they did is they padded up their defense, and now it's paying off. They look like, I mean, it's the best defensive game I've seen so far. just pure dominance. And then, like you said, AJ Wentland out there looking like a land shark for real. You know, that dude is active. He's active out there. And I think when you got that type of energy at your linebacker position, it makes everybody else comfortable. Everybody else feeds off of it. And it just showed in that game. The Wolverines just didn't have enough, or, you know, they didn't have anything, you know, besides the long touchdown pass. Like, other than that, it was a dominant game.
Yeah. So Steelers definitely won that one.
Steelers definitely won that game.